Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. You should be able to catch me live on different avenues. So I hope that if you're in the nutrition, counseling, and coaching Facebook community, you can find me. I am also live right now on my YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, and on my Facebook page. So I'm excited to be here. If you have any questions throughout today's training, go ahead and just pop them into the live. I'm hopefully going to be able to see them. I'm using StreamYard for today's live. So let me just double check that I am live and I can see myself. Yes, there I am. Wonderful. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joyce Faraj-Ardura. I am the founder of the Nutrition Counseling Academy, and I am the host of the Nutrition Counseling and Coaching Facebook community. I also have an Instagram where I post many trainings and reels all about nutrition counseling. That's at Nutrition Counseling Academy with a period separating each one. So you can follow me there as well. My aim is to have this community and have this be an avenue for me to be able to share many trainings here and there. So if you're new, welcome. If you want more trainings, you can go up and you can either choose to look at the guide section for previous trainings, or you can check out my YouTube channel where I have a lot of these as well. So let's get started. I'm aiming for about 20-25 minutes, give or take. And this is one of a couple of different sessions on updates to MI. I know the first one was last fall. I was very eager. As soon as I got the new book, I said, I'm going to do this series. And to be honest, I just recently finished reading the book. So hence now is when I'm ready to do the rest of the series. So if you missed the part 1, I'd be happy to send it to you. Just comment below. This is going to be part 2, but I'm also going to go into some of the intro. So let me go ahead and just share my screen. And let me see if I can do this well. I'm going to add this, but at the same time, I am going to, there we go. Okay, so I'm hoping, yes. Okay, it just took a second. It was lagging for a minute. So let's start with what nutrition counseling is and what it is not, because this is setting the stage for where motivational interviewing actually kicks in as far as the work that we do as dietitians. So when we think about nutrition counseling, for the most part, we tend to think of counseling as an intervention in the nutrition care process. So if we take a few steps back and you recall the nutrition care process, we have, diagnosis, we have obviously the assessment, diagnosis, intervention, monitoring, evaluation. We zoom in on an intervention. An intervention is an action meant to either target the root cause or the etiology of the nutrition problem, or it's meant to alleviate the symptoms, the signs and symptoms that our clients are coming to us with. Now, counseling can be one of those interventions, and it is defined by the Academy as a supportive process characterized by a collaborative counselor-client relationship to establish food, nutrition, and physical activity priorities, goals, and action plans that acknowledge and foster responsibility for self-care to treat an existing condition and promote health. Wow, that's a mouthful. So that's a lot, right? However, many times the diagnosis that we end up, or the problem that we end up figuring out our client has, might be a nutrition and food-related knowledge deficit, right? So we're thinking this person lacks the knowledge. So this means that if our problem ends up being lack of knowledge, our main intervention ends up being nutrition education, which, by the way, is another intervention, which is different from counseling, but it is compatible. Nutrition education is a formal process to instruct or train a client in a skill or to impart knowledge to help a client voluntarily manage or modify food and lifestyle choices and behaviors to maintain or improve health. So then you can see how they're complementary with nutrition counseling, but they're two very different things. This means that many times dietitians end up using their educator hat most of the time when it comes to our client sessions. And let me tell you, if knowledge was all that the client was missing and you provide that knowledge, then in theory, that should be enough. However, it's like 98% of the clients, it's not just knowledge that they're missing. And the reason is because knowledge does not equal change. So most of us, we know what we need to do, what we should be doing. Most of your clients are coming to you with that innate wisdom as well. I mean, people know they need to be eating fruits and vegetables. They're not getting enough fiber. They're not drinking enough water. They know they need to be doing more physical activity. I know those tend to be some of the general ones. But speaking from a general perspective, most of us, we know some things that we should be doing for our own benefit and health that we might not be doing it. I'm right there on that list. So even though education is a necessary component of behavior change, knowledge alone does not guarantee that people will change their behaviors. And most of us are learning that the hard way with our clients. So then this means that many dietitians are left questioning what else they can do to support their clients in adopting healthy changes. And the reason for this is that there's a little bit of a lag here. So I'm going to make sure I see it. The reason is that nutrition is fundamentally a science, but eating is a behavior. And a recent study showed that 93.7% of dietitians felt that post-registration training is necessary with regular skill review and supervision necessary to feel confident in their communication skills for behavior change. That means that 9 out of 10 dietitians, these are dietitians already registered, feel like they don't have enough of the knowledge, the skills developed. They don't have the competency to be able to feel confident in the work they're doing with their clients to actually get them to change their behavior. Because they know the MNT, they know the science, and they might still feel that they need more science courses. I mean, we're all always taking new courses because there are new things coming up because nutrition science is a baby science, right? There's a lot that we're still discovering. But when it comes to nutrition changes, behavior changes, that means that we need to also get training on how to do what we do with clients and the communication skills for behavior change. So I was right there with you, and I'm going to share my story on a different time, not today, but I was one of those 9 out of 10 dietitians that didn't feel very confident. So after years of training and doing all the things that I could do, I am now here, the founder of the Nutrition Counseling Academy, and it's my mission to help you feel equipped with the knowledge, the skills, the strategies to be able to feel more confident in the work that you do so that your clients feel supported, heard, valued, and ideally that can lead to better client outcomes, right? So if you want to talk about any of the services I offer, I'd be happy to chat with you later. Just send me a message. But now let's go back to this. So when it comes to motivational interviewing, this is not necessarily a skill set or a modality, a counseling modality. It's actually a way of talking with people about change and growth to strengthen their own intrinsic motivation and their own commitment towards change. And this book here, this is the 4th edition that came out last August or September. And when it comes to incorporating MI training into dietetics, I know that most of you have maybe taken a workshop or maybe you've taken a class. I don't know, maybe you've taken a whole semester on this, which is wonderful. But most of us have taken maybe a class or two. Maybe it's been a whole module in a semester-long class, or maybe it's been like a lunch and learn. And in reality, when it comes to motivational interviewing proficiency, there are 8 different stages. Most of us get to stage 1 or 2. So then that means that there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to learning MI. And MI has been around for about 40 plus years, and it was originally created to be able to have conversations with individuals who were not necessarily ready for change. So that it was really focusing on how to tap into the fundamentals of psychology and behavior change in a very natural way so that we can enhance the client's own intrinsic motivation, that internal motivation and commitment towards a target behavior. So this is a way for us to go beyond nutrition education and go into the behavior change aspect. But in a little bit, I'm going to talk about how we can actually mesh education and the behavior change communication styles together. So how do we do nutrition education and MI style? But before that, I'm going to go into what MI is not. MI is not just being nice to people. And MI is not a non-directive, person-centered counseling style as originally described by Carl Rogers. No, we're not following our clients. The clients might be in charge of their own lives. They decide whether they're going to make a change, what change they're going to make. They have their autonomy, but it does not mean that we're following, right? It means that we're guiding the conversation. Because with MI, there is an intentional strategic movement towards one or more specific goals. And the goal has to be shared with the client. It has to be a common goal that, ideally the client has to come up with that goal. But it has to be something that we're both on the same page with our clients on. MI is not a technique to add to your toolbox. It is not just asking open-ended questions. And I think this is the one that gets me the most, because I've spoken with lots of dietitians and they say, oh, I'm good with MI. I'm asking all of the open-ended questions. I mean, that's wonderful because that gets the client talking more. However, it's not just asking open-ended questions. It's asking questions that are going to strategically get your clients to express a desire, ability, reason, or need for wanting to change their behavior. So it is an evocative, directional type of questioning. It is not a solution to all situations, but it blends well with other approaches. A good example is MI blending well with CBT. It is not the same at the stages of change, but they are complementary, which is why MI can work really well to have those conversations that can help a client that might be in pre-contemplation just plant a seed for behavior change. I'll get those clients who are in contemplation move a little bit closer towards being in the preparation stage. So it blends really well, but they're two distinct theories, or the transfer radical theory is distinct from MI. It is not the same as doing a decisional balance technique of equally exploring pros and cons, because we're not meant to be neutral when it comes to employing MI as far as the work that we do as dietitians. And I forget if I'm going to have time to go into this today, but I could have a whole training just on balance technique, the decisional balance technique for ambivalence. And it is not a way to get people to do what you want them to do. No, we do have the client's best interest in mind. It is not us. We're not the ones deciding what the client is going to do, but we can offer suggestions. And I'm going to go into that in a couple of minutes. So it's not a way to manipulate conversations. Although sometimes MI can come in handy when you're talking with your spouse, your partner, or even your kids. Even though MI is not meant to be used in a pediatric population, because they need to have the cognitive ability to reason well. So that's better for teenagers. So MI is a way of being with people. And when you put it that way, MI sounds simple. It sounds intuitive. But it is not necessarily easy to learn, and it can be challenging to apply. So it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of, let's say, supervised practice, so you can get some feedback on where and how you can improve your implementation of MI. The 4th edition of the book that I just showed earlier, Helping People Grow and Change, aims to simplify the concepts so that it is more accessible, not just to therapists, but to other practitioners such as dietitians. So I think I just have 2 more here. Yeah, so let's start with the definition. The technical definition from 2013, it's still valid, but now it's not the main definition used for MI. So back in 2013, when the previous edition came out, the definition of MI was the following. MI is a collaborative, goal-oriented style of communication with particular attention to the language of change talk. It is designed to strengthen personal motivation for and commitment to a specific goal, so it's goal-oriented, by eliciting and exploring the person's own reasons for change within an atmosphere of acceptance and compassion. This is the spirit of MI. So this is very technical, and all of this is still valid, is still applicable. However, it seems like it's a lot that's going on in this definition at once. So it can be a little bit more challenging for someone to dive into MI when you look at that definition. However, the new definition from 2023, the one at the bottom, is MI is a particular way of talking with people about change and growth to strengthen their own motivation and commitment. Sounds much easier, no? Sounds much more intuitive, less robotic in a sense, because when we're starting to implement or apply MI in sessions, it can sound a little bit forced. It can sound a little bit robotic. It can sound unnatural because this is now how we tend to talk with our friends, with our loved ones, with our peers, with our spouses. We tend to talk very differently. So when it comes to MI, it's how we approach the sessions, the attitude that's going to dictate how well we can implement the micro skills, which are the open-ended questions, affirmations, reflections, and summaries. So other changes, and I'm going to go into all of these in different trainings because it's a bunch, but I'm just going to highlight. Oh, I think I can use my mouse here. Yes, maybe not. So I'm just going to highlight the old terms and the new terms. So in the past, we had agenda mapping. The new term for that is choosing a path. And when I go into the different tasks for MI in the next training, I'm going to go into what that is and how we can do it. Development discrepancy is what we tend to do when we have someone that is in the pre-contemplation stage. The new term is planting a seed. So our goal is to get them into ambivalence, to create ambivalence. The elicit, provide, elicit is now known as ask, offer, ask. And I'm going to go into that one today because that's how we blend nutrition education with MI for our counseling sessions. Formulation is now known as clarifying, and this is when we're trying to figure out what the client wants. So we're focusing the session. The writing reflex is now known as the fixing reflex. And I'm going to go into that in the next slide. And the running head start is now known as the pendulum technique. And this is when we first explore why someone might want to not make a change, and then we go into what might be some of the benefits of changing. And we do that in a strategic way so that we don't get clients stuck in the not making a change. So the biggest struggle that I see in motivation with dietitians when it comes to implementing motivational interviewing is the fixing reflex, which used to be known as the writing reflex. So the fixing reflex is basically it's us as dietitians wanting to help our clients. It is us wanting to provide the solutions. It is us wanting to fix the problem because that's why clients come to us, right? They want us to fix the problem. They want us to provide the solutions. However, how we do this is going to dictate how engaged the client will be and how appropriate and fitting and personalized the intervention is actually going to be. So the fixing reflex comes from a place of wanting to help because deep down we are helping professionals. It comes from us wanting to tell them what they need to do because they come to us wanting us to help them, right? So when we tell them what they have to do in a way that it is implying, I'm having a hard time with words, it's implying that we are the only experts, then that means we're falling into the expert trap and we're being victim of the fixing reflex. So every time you find yourself telling your clients, why don't you try this? It sounds like you should be doing this. Have you tried to do this, or that? It means you're giving them the solutions in a way that's not MI compliant. So go ahead, take a second, take a step back. And this can be hard for many because when they come to us as dietitians, and this is our area of expertise, we're trained, we have the education, the knowledge, the experience. We can see 10, 100 maybe different things that they need to work on to fix whatever problem they have. However, clients they're not broken. They're not meant for us to fix them, but we are meant to work with them collaboratively. We have to go ahead and treat our clients as the experts that they are. And this by no means means that we're minimizing our expertise. No, on the other hand, we're elevating our clients' expertise because they have their own lived experience. Only they know what's going to work and what's not going to work. So we have to go ahead and tame our fixing reflex. So when we find ourselves wanting to give them all the solutions, we're going to take a step back, and I'm going to tell you what you can do instead. But this actually has some benefits. This takes the pressure off of you as a dietitian to have to provide the solutions, and it encourages collaboration, a partnership with the client. And that way you're putting the responsibility for behavior change on them. Okay, so what do I have next? Let me see. Next one. Okay. So how to offer suggestions in my style. First, we do not want to trigger any defensiveness from our clients. We want them to feel like they are our equal, right? We have to treat them as another expert. We have to collaborate with them. That means we have to respect them, and we have to get permission from them so that we don't trigger defensiveness. We have to support their autonomy because ultimately, it's very naive of us to think that we're going to make people change. Only they can decide whether they want to change, what change they want to make, when they want to make it, how they want to make it. So it's only natural for us to partner up with them to be able to figure out how to do this, and if they want to do it or not, and support that autonomy. Not only support it, but emphasize it. So tell them something along these lines. Whatever you decide is up to you, of course, so that they know that it's up to them. And it's not like we're giving them that power. It was never ours, but we are emphasizing it so that they feel more engaged and they feel, like it is up to them, really. And this can help with the commitment. So when we offer suggestions in my style, clients are more likely to actually take on those suggestions or consider change. So the main way to do it, which used to be known as the elicit, provide, elicit, is now known as the ask, offer, ask. So instead of making assumptions about what clients already know, we can go ahead and ask them, and then we fill in the knowledge gap. So start by asking them, so what do you already know about how the foods you eat can influence your sugar levels, your blood sugar levels? What have you already tried so far to manage your diabetes? What would you like to know more about as far as interventions to help you feel better from IBS or bloating, whatever it might be, right? Go ahead and ask them. So start with that ask. And instead of giving a lecture, because I get it. We want to show our value to our clients because we feel like we might be competing with Google. We're not. If we're focusing on establishing a connection, making our clients feel heard, and then really getting to what might be the best interventions for them based on our expertise and their expertise together, there's no way we can compete, or there's no way Google can compare to the work that we do with our clients. So instead of giving a lecture, start by asking and listening. Would it be okay if I share more about how different foods can affect your blood sugar? Because once you already know what they know, you can fill in those gaps, and try to keep it simple. Don't go into all of the carbohydrate metabolism. No, just kind of keep it to what's relevant, what's needed, and keep it simple in the terms of language you use as well. Use their same language, mirror their language, so that we can ensure the understanding of the information we're sharing. So this is where your expertise in nutrition education comes through. So I'm going to show you some examples. I have 2 examples. This is scenario 1. Then I'm going to go into scenario 2. Scenario 1 is a very typical scenario. And in this one, the client might be saying, okay, so you're the dietitian. What do you think I should do? The dietitian can say, well, research suggests that those who eat their protein and vegetables first have better blood sugar control. Client says, no, all my meals are mixed. I couldn't just eat the protein and vegetables first. Okay, the dietitian says, oh, well, if you're able to have balanced meals with enough fiber, protein, and healthy fats, then that can help. The client says, oh, I've tried that and I just have the hardest time balancing my meals. I can't commit to that right now. It's too much effort. The dietitian says, I see. Well, what about timing your meals throughout the day so you have regular meals? And the client says, oh, my schedule is so random. I don't know if I can work that in. So most would label a client like this as a resistant or a difficult, a challenging client. So every time you provide a suggestion to your client without asking for permission, your client's natural first response is going to be to figure out what might be wrong with that suggestion and then tell you why that might not work. So when you're hearing too much responses, your client saying, yes, but, yeah, but that's not going to work. That I've tried that before and it's not, that means that we need to shift the role. We need to actually do something along these lines. This scenario too. Same client, same dietitian, but the suggestions are offered in a different way. The client says, what do you think I should do? The dietitian can say, well, there are many different things you can try if you want to. If you want to, emphasizing autonomy. Let me share a few that have helped others manage their blood sugars if that's okay with you. If that's okay with you, asking for permission. Starting your meals with the protein and vegetables can potentially help prevent those after meal spikes. Balancing out the meals to include variety, having structured meal times, or going for a walk after meals also helps. Which, if any, of these sounds the most appealing? So which sounds the most appealing? You're providing choice. If any, you're emphasizing autonomy. It's okay. They can say, no, none of these work. So the client could respond something like this. Well, I'm not in a place to make any dietary changes right now, but going for a walk could be something I can fit into my day. It might also help reduce my stress levels. So you can see how offering suggestions in an MI manner can make it easier for your client to be more receptive. Another one I tend to get, and I'm not going to go into that one now, but another one I tend to get is the client says, no, I don't want to think about this. You're the expert. You tell me what to do. So you could do a response like this, or you could say, that's true. I can provide you many different solutions or different options for you to choose from, but I'm curious. You must have put some thought into this. What have you thought about when it comes to things that you can do or you've heard others do to improve their blood sugar levels? So then you're going to get them thinking, and the more engaged that they are in session, the more likely they're going to be engaged outside of session. So those are the updates that I have for you today. I was aiming for this to be about half hour. So I want to take a moment to just take 2 minutes to show you what I have coming up for the Nutrition Counseling Academy. If you're a dietitian, nutrition professional, even a dietetic intern, and you're looking to enhance your nutrition counseling skills, and you want to learn from maybe a bunch of different experts in different areas of nutrition counseling, this is going to be the event for you. It's happening a month from now, May 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's going to be all virtual, 3 days, 9 sessions, 9 CEUs. So we have a wonderful lineup. We have Tony Toledo, and she's going to be mentioning or talking about how, as a dietitian, you can find your own voice so that you find your own way of doing nutrition counseling in an effective manner. Because many of us, as we're learning all these modalities and communication styles, it can get difficult to have our voice come through in session. Then Erin Gonzalez is going to go into regulating a dysregulated nervous system and its impact on dysfunctional eating patterns. That's going to be a wonderful session as well. Then we have the weight of trauma and the trauma of weight, what every dietitian needs to know about trauma and trauma-informed care. I mean, I just cannot wait for these. That's going to be day 1. On day 2, we're going to start with the amazing Tracy Brown on how we can have discussions about body image, followed by Alyssa Rumsey, who is going to do a case study and weight-inclusive trauma-informed care in action, which I just cannot wait for. And then we're going to end day 2 with the wonderful Amy Helms, who is a dietitian. She's also a therapist. Practical applications and skill demonstration. So how can we create safety during sessions and meals with our clients? And then we're going to have day 3. We're going to have Dina D'Alessandro, counseling for behavior change. So when knowing when to support, when to step in, and when to step back or shut up in a session. Then we're going to have Amy Tritt, extra spoons, nutrition counseling strategies for neurodivergent adults. Imagine how much better equipped would you be if you knew how to have effective sessions or conversations with your clients who might be adults living with ADHD or autism. So there's going to be this session to attend. And I'm going to be finishing off this session or day 3 with Beyond SMART Goals, behavior change planning for client success that goes beyond the SMART goals we're taught about. So if you want to join in any of these, we have the early bird. Sorry, if you want to join the summit, we have the early bird special going through until 4/20, and that's going to be $50 off. And after that, if you are from an underrepresented group in dietetics, if you're part of a group practice, or if you're a student, then go ahead and send me an email because I do have special pricing for you. So you won't want to miss this. 9C are pending, and it's gonna be amazing. The first one happened last fall, and everybody just gave amazing reviews. This is the kind of stuff I wish was out there, and because it isn't, I'm creating it. So I'd love for you to join or send me any questions if you have any. And that's all that I have for you today. I'm going to stick around, see if anyone has any questions. Let me see. And if you don't, that's fine. If you have them later when you watch the replay, go ahead and post them below, and I'd be happy to get back to you. And last but not least, if any of you are already doing motivational interviewing in your sessions, you want to know how to improve, I also offer session reviews. So with session reviews, you can actually submit a session or an audio of a session, and I use the latest AI technology to it codes the whole thing. It tells me how well you're implementing motivational interviewing, and then I also review it and give you my feedback. So you get a global score for how well you're doing MI. And that's going to be the number one thing that can help you improve your motivational interviewing. I also have a self-paced course that has almost 20 CEUs for dietitians, and that has a really good foundation of MI as well as foundations of counseling, the stages of change, and lots of other goodies. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much. I don't see any questions. I will post the link below for the summit. Please share with your RD friends or nutrition professional friends if you think this is something that they would be interested in. So thank you. Take care.